Hey y'all, Amy here, aka icyayme. Welcome back to my channel. Excuse the coloring on this table. I do have a 3-year-old and she don't cur. So this topic today is postpartum depression. One of my best friends suggested that I do this as a second video because, you know, we both agree that I think this would help a lot of young moms, because there's a little stigma behind talking about postpartum depression and what people go through. And I think a lot of people don't realize that postpartum depression is really real and it really happens, and it happens to a lot of us, and it's okay to talk about it. Ain't nothing wrong with sharing your story. And so let's get right on into this shit, okay? So as you guys know, I have a 3-year-old and a 4-month-old. I've experienced postpartum depression with both. With my 3-year-old, I literally did not know, so to speak, that I was going through postpartum depression. I remember one night, probably about 3 weeks after she was born, I was so sleep deprived, and let me tell you, her dad, he's a great baby dad, which he's the baby dad of both my children, in case y'all were wondering. He really is great. He's a great provider. He's a great man now. Back then, though, he wasn't very helpful at all whatsoever. Oh, my baby's up. Let me get her. Okay, so I'm back. Sorry about that, guys. Mom duties. So there was this night. Oh, anyways, like I was saying, he wasn't very helpful. So there was this night where I was so tired. I was a new mom. I was 18 years old. I'm the oldest of 4, so I kind of thought that I was going to have this whole mommy shit in the bag. No. Okay, because there's not an instruction manual that comes with being a parent. It's just no. Anyways, so my 3-year-old, now 3-year-old, she was just crying and crying and crying and crying. And I was giving her my Cecily, aka Cheech, aka breastfeeding. Anyways, I was giving her some Cecily, and that wouldn't make her stop crying. I was rubbing her little butt and patting it and shaking her and hello, no, nice time, go to sleep. She would not go to sleep for like shit. Okay, she just wanted to keep freaking crying and keep freaking crying. And I was so just like, what the hell? I'm so tired. Nothing I'm doing is working. And I was starting to get like, what's the word? I only know the word in Spanish. I was starting like desperate, like, what the fuck can I do? And I remember seeing her like in her little bouncer, and I just thought to myself, if I just grab this pillow and put it over your face, child, you will shut the fuck up. And I just looked at her and I felt so angry at her for being a crybaby. And then literally in that same second that I thought that, I started bawling my eyes out, and I was like, what the hell did I just think? Like, what the hell? I'm crazy. I must be a crazy person, because this is my newborn, precious, innocent child, and I'm thinking about suffocating her with a pillow because I cannot handle her crying. It was such a crazy feeling, just feeling that. I felt like a horrible mother. I was like, God, why did you give me this baby? I don't deserve to have kids, because what mother thinks this kind of thing, you know? Like, what the hell? So then I promised myself, I was like, I will never, ever, ever, ever think such horrible thoughts to my innocent child. Never again. Literally, I struggled with that internal guilt for like the whole, like literally up until about 2 months ago, when my mom showed me this postpartum documentary on Netflix, which I will put in the description. It's called When the Bow Breaks. When I watched that documentary, I realized, wow, I struggled with postpartum depression with my 3-year-old for the whole year after she was born, and I didn't even realize it. I didn't realize that I was secretly going through this battle. I literally just felt like I was a crazy person, and obviously something's not right in my mind. And when that really wasn't the case, you know. And then I think I didn't notice that it was postpartum depression because I was going through so much with her father at that time that I thought it was that. I thought I was depressed and lonely and sad because of what I was going through with her dad, when really a lot of it had to do with the fact that I was a new mother. I was young, still young because I'm 22 now. I, you know, was my body was trying to get the hormones back to normal, you know. There was just a lot that played a role in that back then, and I wish I would have known that back then so that I wouldn't have guilt tripped myself a lot for that night and a lot for the times where I felt so depressed that I didn't want to hold her or I didn't want to cuddle with her, you know. But that was my postpartum story with my 3-year-old. So with my 4-month-old, I can honestly say I'm still dealing with the postpartum depression. And it has hit me in the way that I have these like just waves of feeling really alone. And when I have those times, I feel like, yes, my kids are around me and I'm not really alone physically, but inside I feel alone. And I'll have moments where I cry or where I'm just like, I cannot handle this anymore. And it's gotten a lot better. She's 4 months now. I think the peak of my postpartum so far has been when she was like a month to 2.5 months old. I saw how it was affecting my relationship, and like my man would come home and I feel like he didn't know how to deal with what I was going through. He's already a kind of person that's very passive aggressive. He doesn't really deal with issues right then and there. He doesn't know how to just be like, hey babe, are you alright, babe? Let me hold you. He's not that kind of guy. He's more of like a, let me make you laugh and you'll feel better. Hold on. Sorry guys, that was my 3-year-old. Anyway, where was I? Oh yeah. So yeah, he's more like, I'll make you laugh and we're not going to really talk about the issue. And I think he didn't really know what the hell I was dealing with. I think a lot of men actually don't. I think a lot of men are like, oh yeah, women just get pregnant and then they just pop out a baby and then they're going to be right back to being like normal and, you know, gung-ho all the time. When no, like they need to understand, and it's really just ignorant to the fact that, you know, a lot of people and a lot of women don't even know that our bodies are going through so much chemically, like in our minds, in our bodies, spiritually, and we don't just bounce back. It took us 9 months to create this life inside of us. It's going to take us 9 months or more to get back to who we were. And I think our relationship was really tested because it was to that point where he would come home and I just knew that he didn't know how to deal with what I was going through. So he was just like escaping from the problem and just like ignoring us. And I even told him, like, babe, I feel like you come home and you hate to be home with us. I feel like it's a chore for you to come home and be around us. And he like was like, yeah, Amy, you know, I am going through something, you know, I don't know what it is. I've been grumpy lately, but I know that a lot of it had to do with how I was being, because my energy, you know, I couldn't snap out of feeling so alone. I couldn't snap out of the fear of our relationship in the past, and if he was going to be the same person he was back then now, even though I clearly see the change in him now. And then a lot of it was just, you know, anxiety and being depressed and feeling like, you know, when I got pregnant with my second child, I was, you know, barely, like, I had already gotten over my addiction, but it was still fresh. I didn't have time to get my body healthy again. I got pregnant with her when my body was still unhealthy. I was still trying to gain my weight back. I was still trying to be mentally in the right place. So, you know, it was just so much things mentally that I didn't prepare myself for in this pregnancy, and I wasn't expecting to affect me that did. So now, like I said, I still have those moments where I feel really lonely, and I feel like, you know, out of all my friends, I actually have one friend now who's expecting a baby, but out of all my friends, I'm the only one with a baby. So I feel like I can't go to them and be like, yo, I'm feeling so down and I'm feeling so just lonely or I'm feeling so ugly, even though I know I'm that bitch, you know, and they won't understand. So I go to my mom a lot. My mom is my go-to person, and I think now it's getting better. I know that, you know, when I have my moments of feeling lonely, I'm very verbal about it now. Me and my man have communicated that, you know, we need to have better communication. And so when I'm feeling my moments of just, I'm having a moment where I either feel sad or depressed or lonely, I can tell him, babe, you're making me feel like this, like you need to be nicer to me right now because, you know, I just need help right now. And he's super understanding about it, which makes it so much better. So, you know, we're just, I guess time will tell and see. You know, I take it day by day. Each day is a new day. Each day it's going to be something different. It's going to be a different struggle. I stay positive, because that's really all you can do, is to be positive and to know that this isn't permanent. You know, most of the time it's not permanent. It'll go away. Your body will go back to normal. Your hormones will level themselves the fuck out. And it's just what you go through being a mom sometimes, you know. Some women are different than other women. They get affected in different way. There's no right way to be or had to have postpartum. It's different for everybody. And it's great when you have a great support system that's like, you're good, you're going to be good, is there for you when you're feeling some kind of way. And my advice to you guys would be, especially like young mothers who are going through postpartum or think they might be going through it, or if you have those days where you just feel numb and empty and you just don't know what the hell's going on with you, it's probably postpartum. And I would just say to you that, you know what, it's going to be okay. And you're not a horrible mother. You are not crazy. You are still a great mom, and you can get through it. There's nothing that in this world that I feel like women and mothers won't be able to get through, you know. And just take it day by day, you know, step by step. Think as positive as you can. Wake up and make sure that your first thought of the day is a positive one, and you'll be all right, you know. So good luck to you guys. All right, y'all, that wraps up my video. This is a freaking close-up because I don't care. Anyways, so stay tuned, because my next video is going to be about the domestic abuse that I went through, and I'm sure you guys are going to love to hear about that. If you haven't already, subscribe to my channel, add me on Snapchat. It'll be in the description below, and stay strong, my women.